Hey, what up you guys? Welcome to a new video. A different kind of surroundings for a special video. And why? I am going to do a video about a string of videos that was a fucking long while ago. And there was albums that mean the most to me personally. And yeah, I'm gonna do it now. And I felt like it's a beautiful sight around here, and I got a little inspired by a YouTuber called Bog Phantom. And since I've got these really good surroundings around me, I wanted to do a little bit the same. I don't have rocks and hills here in the Netherlands, so you have a better surroundings than me, but it's about albums as we speak. And I've got a few CDs and a couple of vinyl to show you guys. And yeah, let's get started. This is Mare Imbrium by Almofar. This is bought through a Ukrainian label, and this is the CD. And this is ambient music, but it's very calming, and some people need calming music like Alcest or some sun, doom, stuff like that. And I get my peace in this Almofar Mare Imbrium. I do have some other releases of them on the same how do you call it, the same physical release as this one, sorry. And this is limited to 33 copies. And yeah, if you like to enjoy some amazing ambient music, you should really check out Almofar. Next up, the album that got me into brutal technical death metal. And many of you guys know it, and when I bought it, these guys were fairly new to the scene when I can remember. And this is Cytotoxin with Plutonium Heaven. As you can see, a little train is passing by. Cytotoxin with Plutonium Heaven. I always wanted to go to Chernobyl and Pripyat because I wanted to experience how it felt being forced to leave by human mankind, not by war, not by hate, but by security. And everybody wanted to get people to safety, but they didn't succeed. And Cytotoxin made a album, made a whole band around the Cytotoxin and Chernobyl accident. And yeah, it really how do you call it, it really grabs me by the heart to say that this is the most meaningful brutal death metal album that I own, and I will never ever part of it. So if you want this copy of me, you can have to kill me. Next up, I've got two soundtracks for you guys. This is the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. As you can see, it's pretty beat up around the edges and stuff. And this is the insert. This is the back side. And everybody knows the Lord of the Rings by their extremely good acting and major battle scenes and beautiful wardrobes, and robes are amazing, and special effects are great. But what really grabbed me in those three films was the music. And I searched the music for Lord of the Rings, and I got this CD years and years ago. I'm talking about 6 or 7 years ago, maybe longer. And the Lord of the Rings has a special place in my heart And yeah, every every song on those 3 albums is just breathtaking, literally. The second one is the soundtrack of Jurassic Park. The opening title of Jurassic Park really sets the mood for the whole movie. It's fucking scary. It has a difficult type of music that is no, I'm saying it differently. It is haunting by the opening track with I guess it's a flute or something that comes in after the drums. And small story behind the movie. I went with my father to this movie in the cinema, if I'm not mistaken, or I saw the DVD or VCR for this movie, and I was scared to death for this, and I haven't watched it in years after. But then I was watching the first part, this one, again, and it's just amazing movie, and I fell in love with the logo, just the logo of Jurassic Park. And if I ever want to get a tattoo, it will be this logo, exactly this logo, nothing else, just this, with maybe a little black on it. But the theme of Jurassic Park is just amazing. I don't have a favorite song of this OST, so check the whole album if you like it. Next up, the surprise that I didn't expect. My girlfriend introduced me to Bring Me the Horizon with Sempiternal. I always thought that Bring Me the Horizon was a metalcore band that is just horrible, and I was one of those guys where you were saying like, yeah, Bring Me the Horizon is gay as fuck, they're only just great, fuck all these sides. And my girlfriend introduced me to this, and I was godsmacked, because many hate this album or love this album. It was a big changeover for Bring Me the Horizon, and I had to take this album with me on my phone to America, and I listened at least 20 times to this album, and I fell in love with this album. Especially the song Go to Hell for Heaven's Sake is my favorite of this one. It's getting a bit dark. Next up, my only rap album that I ever enjoyed. This is Fort Minor with The Rising Tide. Everybody knows the song Remember the Name. It's kind of a guilty pleasure or a sketchy song to listen to, but it's just, the whole album is amazing, and it features, I guess, almost every member is a ex or current member of Linkin Park, and Fort Minor makes a really good album about, especially the song Kenji. Kenji is about a guy, of a Japanese guy who was living in, I believe, Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken, and it was on the day that, in the period of time that Pearl Harbor was attacked by the Japanese, and every Japanese people, all the Japanese people had to fear for their lives, and I believe Mr. Shinoda, who is one of the rappers on this one, I believe it's about his grandfather, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a really brilliant song to listen to. And another song that is amazing and actually brought a tear to my eye is Where'd You Go, and those beats and those clean, beautiful vocals of, says on the back, Holly Brook, and yeah, it really grabs me and it holds me tight, and it's a very, very cool album too. Those were the CDs. Now we're going to vinyl version with Hit His Lisette Taros. I guess everybody has heard it, and I almost don't need an introduction for this album, but this album has a special place for me because the first song, that som en gang var, that one, is a song that I there's a behind there, there's a how do you call it, where people collect trash, but those, like a big recycle center. It has been overgrown with grass and ferns and trees and stuff like that, and every year it was very fucking cold and there was snow, and I spun this record in its entirely, especially the first opening track, that's Som Enganvar. And yeah, I don't know why, but it has a special place for me, and every time I spin that song or this whole album, it reminds me of that evening. Next up, The X's with XX. I saw these guys, or girl and a boy, play live at the Sziget festival in Hungary, and I was high as a motherfucker. Literally, I was out of the world, and these guys were playing around this time, which is 8 in the evening. Can't say PM or AM, I don't know, that's the difference. But this band was playing, those two people were playing, and it was so atmospheric, and it just fitted the whole moment, and yeah, I felt really connected to them, and I was searching for this album for a long time after that. Not my priority or stuff like that, but I also forgot about it. But it has probably the most meaningful concert experience that I ever had, was this band called The X's. Very atmospheric pop music, and it's just really simplistic pop music, but it is fucking great to hear it, for me. So if you really love some British atmospheric folk, British atmospheric pop music, you should really check out The X's. Next up, Kauan with Sorninai, released by Blood Music, and this is progressive metal / rock and / atmospheric music. And Sorninai is about a subject that I am very fucking interested in, and that's about a group of, I believe, 9 explorers, 9 or 10 explorers, correct me if I'm wrong, who are traveling in Russia at the Dyatlov Pass, and at one night all the hikers were killed by something, and yeah, they really can't put their finger on what literally killed them, because if they could be killed by a bear, it will be they will be mauled to death. But this one was weird because one of the hikers was naked, and one of the other hikers their tongue was cut out, and if I'm not mistaken, one of the other guys had a weird radioactive substance around them, which is really odd when you're in the middle of nowhere in Russia. And yeah, it's just really haunting and weird. And Kauan has made an album about it, and when I saw this was going to be released, I knew nothing about Kauan, if I'm honest. And I blind bought it, I blind pre-ordered it, and it took a while to get here, but fuck, this album is just breathtaking. It's a whole fucking journey. I don't know how long it is, but it's over an hour, and it is fucking amazing, guys. If you haven't checked it out, check it out, please. You will absolutely love it. This is Void Meditation Cult, and I'm wearing. This is not meant to be, by the way, but this is Void Meditation Cult with sulfurous prayers of blight and darkness. Blight and darkness, yes. Backside. Some say it's a split between those bands, but it's literally the same band, so I don't care. It is just a magnificent album. When I saw this at a blogspot, I downloaded it. I know, and after a few listens, and yeah, it dragged me down to. When I listened to it, it dragged me down to a satanic, occultish ritual where they were sacrificing and conjuring demons and stuff like that. Literally fucking horrifying. And it was the first album that I ever bought overseas, and the first album that I ever bought from Hell's Headbangers. And I know I haven't shown this a lot I haven't shown it ever, I think. And they are bringing out a new album this year, and I already pre-ordered it, and they gave me a confirmation that I have the gold vinyl, which I'm fucking stoked to have, and I can't wait for a new Void Meditation Cult. And the last one has I've talked about this earlier, and they brought out a new album this year, which was a bit of a disappointment for me, but nonetheless, amazing album to listen to, and I am going to spin it a lot more. This is Coldworld with Melancholy 2, and I came across this record when I was searching for depressive suicidal black metal and stuff like that on a blogspot, and I also downloaded this, and after a few listens I knew that this was going to be one of the most relaxing black metal records that is out there, and it is just a perfect album for me. Coldworld with Melancholy. Again, behind there lies one of those recycle center scrapyards things, and that's where I spun this record many times. And now I'm not visiting that place that often, but fuck, it was great to listen to this over there, and I spent countless of hours in the snow and just thinking and listening to this album. So I guess you can say this is my most treasured record ever, and especially on vinyl, to own it, it's just perfect. So yeah, how do you like that? New background. I don't think it's gonna be that often, maybe for some, especially for those little fuckers over there. It has probably some sound issues. But yeah, what do you think about my albums that mean the most to me? I probably have some more, but these were the albums that I really enjoyed listening to it the most, or have the most meaning for me. So yeah, I like to hear your feedback, and yeah, that was my video of my most treasured records and mean the most to me. See ya.